What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Quinn Wade, basketball analysis coming to you. The quick video. Today, we're going to talk about the Western Conference. I usually do this every year when I predict the whole West before the playoffs start. I did it in the beginning of the season. I'm going to do it the last month. I usually do it earlier, but at least I'm doing it. Now, the West, currently, the Golden State Warriors, number 1. San Antonio, number 2. Houston, 3. Utah Jazz, 4. Clippers, 5. The Thunder, 6. 7th is the Memphis Grizzlies, and 8th is the Denver Nuggets. The people that have a chance to get in the playoffs are Portland, 28 and 36, Dallas, 28-37, and Minnesota, 27-38. I honestly don't think the Pelicans going to get there because they still got a lot of stuff to figure out, and they got to get their chemistry right, and they got to get their defense and their offense right. So I don't really think the Pelicans can make it unless they just went off talent, which is hard because you need multiple stars. I know they got Drew Holiday, DeMarcus Cousins, and Anthony Davis. They don't really have no role players around that nucleus. Matter of fact, Omi Caspi would have been a knockdown shooter, but you got DeMarcus Cousins playing more perimeter than he should be. He's more, him and Anthony Davis, they score more on the perimeter than in the post or in the paint. So they taking difficult shots. And on top of that, it's harder to knock those shots down consistently. That's why you're seeing DeMarcus Cousins' field goal percentage kind of slide because he became more of a perimeter player than an inside player. So his field goals were more harder and more inconsistent because he was taking more jumpers than he was taking layups and dunks. That's why you see the people like DeAndre and Rudy Gobert have high field goal because they only dunking and laying it up. And DeMarcus Cousins have low field goal, including Marc Gasol. They have lower field goals because they're not elite knockdown shooters. So before I get into this video, I'm about to name who I think will be where. Golden State is going to be tough because they don't have Kevin Durant. They lost Barbosa. They lost Andrew Bogut. They lost Harrison Barnes. They lost a lot of talent to bring in Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant looks like he's going to be out for the remainder of the regular season. Should be available for the playoffs. So, and then they rested Steph Curry, Draymond, and Clay, and they took another loss. San Antonio is really one win away from taking them from the number 1 spot. But honestly, I think with the injury and the sit down that Steve Kerr had to discipline them for not playing right, Draymond Green definitely has to step up. He's an all-star. He's an all-NBA player. He has to do more than pass and rebound and defense. He has to start scoring. He got to start shooting the 3 better. He got to start, like he used to do in the last couple of years, going to the rack and finishing, getting to the free throw line, making the defense defend him. Because it's really just Steph and Clay trying to find enough room to get off a shot. And they're not really scoring other than that. They might score off a screen or a cut, but they're just basically trying to find open room for Steph and Clay. Like I said, it's hard to win off a duo now. Now you kind of need a trio or a duo with a good supporting cast. If Steph and Clay not feeling it, they're going to lose almost every game. Or if Steph and Clay get some good defense or they jump shot is off like it has been, and they jump shooters, like I said, is inconsistent. The hardest shot in the game is a jump shot. So if you're living off contested jumpers all season long without that much help from your bench or your role players, you're bound to lose a lot of games. But the only reason why I think Golden State going to stay number 1 is because LaMarcus Aldridge is out because of heart condition. That could be something serious. I know they got David Lee. I know they can put Paul Gasol in at the power forward, put Dedmon at the center. And Kawhi Leonard has been taking over games, not just against Houston, but for the whole season. He's been clutch. He's been taking over games. He's been doing it offensively and defensively. I do think the Spurs can finish with the number 1 seed because they do play Golden State one more time, I believe, in Golden State. So with that being said, if they can win, well, I think if they can win that tiebreaker, that can be, like, the records are so close that could be a bone breaker for San Antonio. If they can actually win that last one to guarantee the tiebreak. But right now, it's looking like the Spurs are going to get the number 1 seed. So I got Spurs 1, Golden State 2. The Houston Rockets, I think they're going to stay at number 3. They on pace for about 55 wins. I think they can reach it because their offense is so ridiculous. Utah, that's the team that I told people I took a couple bullets for saying that Utah was going to make the playoffs. A lot of people didn't have them making the playoffs. A lot of people had them struggling. They're over 10 games above 500. So they're definitely a playoff team. They only got to win about 6 more games to lock in these playoff spot. And they look like they're on pace for 50 wins, which has been a while since Darren Williams. So I think Utah. Actually, I think the Clippers get 4, Utah get 5, and Oklahoma City, I think they at number 6. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder stay at 6, mostly because if they can keep Oladipo healthy, that gives them another ball handler to take pressure off Russell Westbrook to always do everything because he can score or he can create his own shot. And his Cantor is back. He can create his own shot in the post and create for others in the post. And he's a great rebounder. And Steven Adams, he's a good rim protector to a certain extent. And he can always finish with a floater or a dunk. And they have enough defense and enough athleticism to make it tough on the opposing team. I know they've been losing a lot. I know they're not that. I don't really think the Thunder is that good. But the West is so weak this year that most of the teams is under 500. But well, I mean, Denver in the 8th seed, usually it'd be a 50 win or 48 win team in the 8th seed. Instead, we have a team below 500. But it looked like Denver, the way they going, they start getting their chemistry going and they play going. They look like they might finish like the Portland Trailblazers did last year, finish on a run to finish like 42-40 or something like that. But that's what Denver look like they can do if they can keep stringing together wins at a time. But I do got OKC finishing 6. I had them not making the playoffs in my first video. But like I said, Dallas had injuries to Dirk, Wesley Matthews, and Darren Williams. And then Portland, they got exposed because people know how they plays and know how to guard them. And they didn't really have no rebounding or no defense because they got a small backcourt. And they bigs is not as good defensively as rim protectors. And Noah Vonleh still kind of new too. He's not really been getting that many minutes over the last couple of years. And then, like I said, I got OKC 6. Memphis finished 7th because they really been struggling offensively. And their defense ain't nowhere near what it used to be a couple years ago. This team is on the fall. Memphis Grizzlies, they was a team that was always borderline contender. They just needed some buckets to fall their way, some plays to fall their way, but they could never get that luck. Now it seems like they're on the downhill of their tenure. Marcus Hall in his 30s. Mike Conley should be 30 or going in his 30s. And it's looking like they're on a trip to be mediocre for the rest of the next 2-3 years, unless they can get a good draft pick or another trade to help their offense and their defense, a two-way player. It looked like, and Chandler Parsons been a bust since they signed him too. So it's either they're gonna get a good trade or a good draft pick that can change their whole franchise, which is unlikely, or they're just gonna be a mediocre team for the next 3 years instead of a championship team. They really need to make a move, or they need to just rebuild. That's the only option I have for Memphis. Because right now, they're not playing nowhere near good defense or offense. And like I said, the AFC I think is going to be Denver just because Portland, their defense is just not good enough. And on top of that, they have the two best players with CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard, but Denver Nuggets has the better team and the better talent through the whole roster. They have NBA players through the whole roster and great contributors through the whole roster. So I think Denver is the better team. Portland has the better big three with CJ, Dame, and Yusuf Nurkic. And I don't think Dallas make it just because they defense. Honestly, it just going I don't know if they schedule is easy or hard, but McCollum and them got an easy schedule. In Denver, they can get hot offensively and take over fourth quarters and games, and they have a good bench, better than the Blazers and the Mavericks. But both of that Blazers and Mavericks team can get hot. And like I said, I don't even have the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think they're going to have enough. And the Pelicans, they just too far behind. They're going to have to go on a big win streak in order to even make the playoffs. So let me know what you guys think. Is my predictions wrong? Are they too high? Are they too low? And I'm gonna have the East coming up today too. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thanks. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. And Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out.